Greetings, and welcome to another edition of Ancient Reality TV, St. Augustine's public access variety show produced by us for you, our viewers.
On tonight's show, we hone our birding skills with St. John's Audubon Society, tiptoe through a cemetery, seek investors for a variety show, and rock out to a St. Augustine native's newest project, Sad Penny.
We are your hosts, Michael and Brooke Ashley. Join us on this journey. So we're just gonna swoop right into our first segment with St. Johns County Audubon member and steward, Blair Clark. We found Blair in the forests of St. Augustine, peering through the trees for some exciting birds migrating their way through Northeast Florida. He is an expert birder, and he got us pretty fired up about all those birds in our trees.
Hi, my name's Blair, and I've been a member of the St. Johns County Audubon Society for about 5 years. The cool thing about birds is that you never really know where they're going to show up when. Birds you should be looking for are migrating warblers or swallows. I've been seeing painted bunting showing up at feeders, and just the normal birds like blue jays and cardinals. Everything is just really exciting and cool. So some tips for new birders are to get a field guide, find a good spot you like to go to see birds, learn your local birds, and get some binoculars, and also go out with birders that are better than you. You should plant native plants. There's things like beautyberry, which are great for birds. That's one that puts out fruit. And the birds that eat fruit, like gray catbirds or robins, really like those. Or just native trees. Trees are just great to put out in bushes. Bird feeders can spread diseases and sickness really easily when they're not clean. So always just make sure that you're cleaning them regularly when it seems kind of dirty, or same for bird bath. You can totally have a feeder, you should just keep it clean. So the neat thing about birding is that wherever you go, there's always something cool to look for. So whenever I go traveling, I always make sure to check what they're seeing around there and some birds that are that people just see a lot around there. Things are going to start back up in September. So some of my favorite meetings and events was there's a trip down to Merritt Island near Cape Canaveral, and that's great. There's a bunch of ducks and wintering birds and things like roseate spoonbills. The beginners that are just starting out and need some help finding good equipment, the Birding 101 is perfect. It tells you cameras and binoculars and just basic skills for birding. We're starting up a whole new thing of young birders, walks and things like that, and I'm going to be leading some of them. So the young birders that are interested should definitely check it out. There's an awesome website that has info about bird walks and events, and also the Facebook page is really helpful. To be a member of the Audubon Society, you just need to go onto the website, and there's all the information on there.
Cardinals, Warblers, Blue Jays, oh my!
Tell me about it. I can't stop looking into the trees ever since I met Blair.
That was something else, and we are pleased to announce that we have solicited another high-dollar investor to be a part of our program. Here's how it went down. Let's take a look. Hi Sharks, I'm Michael.
And I'm Brooke Ashley.
Co-executive producers of Ancient Reality TV.
And we are seeking $3 million for 8% equity in our company. This is a billion, if not trillion-dollar market. YouTube has over 1.3 billion users with over 5 billion videos watched per day.
Public access television is not dead. We are targeting the local market of St. Augustine, which has over 14,000 residents.
Wow!
And if we get St. Augustine Beach to watch too, that's an additional 7,000 people, roughly.
I'm going to stop you right there. I don't care about the viewers or the numbers. I need to know how much money you're making right now.
Okay, our first video brought in 400 views, and our second brought home over 200 plus watches.
Have you made any profit since you started your business?
Yes, good question. We have invested over $100 into this business, and we do not expect any revenue to be brought in.
So you're investing money and you have zero revenue. You're digging yourself into a hole. You might as well be digging yourself a grave, and you're not bringing me with you. And for that reason, I'm out.
Actually, we did visit some graves just this past week. It's nearly impossible for us to run out of segments with so much culture and history in the oldest city. We could see the show running for 20 plus years.
I love what you're doing for the community, but I don't think this is going to work for QBZ or Bed Bath and elsewhere. For those reasons, I'm out. Emmy, are you sure you want to do that?
So, just to summarize, Erica and I are out. But Emmy has offered $150 for a 98% share equity of your business. She brings 1.5 years of experience in the industry. The industry of life.
Emmy will take your deal.
Thank you. This is a dream come true. It means Emmy really believed in us, and I don't think we could have asked for a better shark on our team.
You know, we're only about 3 weeks into this venture, and Emmy's about 1.5 years old, so she's like 20 times the experience that we have. So, I mean, talk about just fortunate.
And there you have it. Emmy Carlson is now the proud owner of our variety show. Everything from here on is brought to you by Emmy.
You hear that?
I think that's a whistle.
Is it a whistle? That's not a whistle. It's Belle! And that was Belle Time!
Now, on to our newest segment called History's Mysteries. And I'll tell you what, you gonna not want to miss it.
History's Mysteries.
On this evening, we creep through the Huguenot cemetery, located just 3 coffin lengths away from our city gates.
Karen, from Friends of Huguenot Cemetery, shares her wisdom with us.
The Huguenot Cemetery was opened in 1821 as a public burial ground. We use the name Huguenot because in the 1830s somebody decided that they would want to memorialize the Huguenots who were Protestants, and this is the first Protestant cemetery in Florida. It's owned by a Memorial Presbyterian Church and has been since 1832, and we continue to use the name Huguenot because if that's what they wanted back in the 1830s, that's history also.
The Huguenots, along with the French Roman Catholics, established Fort Caroline in 1564.
There are no Huguenots buried that we know of in the Huguenot Cemetery.
The need for this cemetery arose when yellow fever struck St. Augustine, with reports that over a dozen bodies needed to be buried per day.
In the 1880s, Old St. Augustine cemeteries had to close down due to suspected poisonous fumes, which caused illness.
While there are founding members of the Florida KKK buried in the Huguenot, the cemetery itself had a diverse population, including Indians from India, free blacks and not free blacks, Jewish burials, and many more curious souls.
Buckingham Smith and his family can be found on the south side of Huguenot. When Smith found his new home in Huguenot, he left a large sum of his wealth to help support free and senior blacks. His legacy continues to support our community until this very day.
Some of our cemetery monuments in the oldest city are built of a unique substance. Indeed, coquina shell rocks. Many of these truths come from this book.
We hope you learned something that you can take to your grave. Mysteries. Very nice shirt. Thanks again to our friends at Friends of Huguenot Cemetery and all of our friends within the Huguenot Cemetery.
And that brings us to our favorite part of the night, the musical showcase. Tonight we have a St. Augustine native and a Music City beauty that you'll surely recognize from our favorite show, My Life is Liz.
This is Sad Penny's ancient reality TV debut. The track is You're So Wrong, and you're so gonna love it.